Hello and welcome back to CEO.CA's Inside the Boardroom. My name is James Fedham and today I'm joined by Ken Brophy, CEO of Intrepid Metals. Ken, it's great to be chatting with you today.
Thanks, James. Great to be here.
So let's kick things off with a bit of an elevator pitch. Can you give us a summary of the company and maybe an overview of your key projects?
Sure. So Intrepid Metals is a relatively new company. Came to market only 2 short years ago and currently have a market cap of around 25 million and only 45 million shares outstanding. So we certainly think we've got tremendous growth potential from here. Over these last 2 years, we really focused our efforts to, build out a portfolio of drill-ready projects that we think can create significant shareholder value, primarily from the drill bit and all in a Tier 1 mining jurisdiction, such as the state of Arizona. 2 of our 3 projects are focused on copper, those being our Corral Copper project, a project that we started drilling in February of this year with some amazing results, which I would be happy to touch on. We have our Mesa Well Copper project, which is a little further north, surrounded by a lot of the majors and some of the other advanced explorers in the state of Arizona. And then certainly we have our Tombstone South project. And this project is more of a silver zinc project that we're also very, very excited about. Just to kind of set the stage, we started 2024 off with a bang by raising $6.6 million in January of this year. And then we started drilling our Corral Copper project in February. Some of the first 2 news releases that we put out had some fantastic shallow high-grade copper results that we're very excited about.
Thank you very much for that overview. So let's talk a little bit more about the Corral Copper project. Can you give us a bit more of, paint a picture for us of the local landscape? What's the infrastructure like? What's the region like for exploration? And then, what are you seeing with these recent drill results? Are there any more drill results pending, or is that it for this year's season?
So Corral Copper is a real interesting project in many rights. And, I got to give a lot of credit to my chairman, Mark Morabito, as he's had his eye on this area for a while. So we named it Corral Copper because essentially we had to corral a whole bunch of fragmented land ownership within this district scale opportunity. There's been a lot of kind of historical work done throughout the district over the years, but in its own right was kind of fragmented, where there were several different property owners. At times they were, ended up in courts. They were suing one another. It was really a difficult area in many ways. All of that historical work, there was no drill core that remained, and it goes down to some of the local feuding, the property itself, or where the core was stored. There was kind of bankruptcies. It was really a mess for many, many years. However, the area still had tremendous potential. And, when I got involved in 2022, Mark, my chairman, kind of instructed me to go and see if we can piece this together. And that's what we've done. So in many ways, I say we've kind of succeeded where others have failed. We now have 9,500 acres of mineral rights, with 1,800 acres of those being a combination of patent mining claims and additional surface rights. So, we often will note that we have, 1,800 acres of just private lands. And that's where a lot of the initial drilling that we've started doing this year has been focused a lot within this kind of 3-kilometer trend where there was a lot of historical work being done. While there is no drill core, we did have some of the assay data and the drill logs that would really help point us in the right direction. So I think we've had tremendous success, certainly from the drill bit. Hole 11, which is in the Ringo zone, that one had 193 meters of 0.68% copper. And within that 193 meters, we had another 105 meters of 1.17% copper and 0.55 grams per ton gold. So what really separates this high-grade intercept is how shallow it is. Hole 11, we started coloring in the mineralization right at 27 meters, and it was pretty much mineralized from top to bottom. The very first hole that we drilled was a little bit further north in our Holiday zone. And within that hole, we had 124 meters of 0.52% copper and 0.35 grams per ton gold. From a copper equivalency standpoint, due to the value of the gold, we have, within that 124 meters, 0.73% copper equivalency. Even the most recent news from just a couple of weeks ago, and we certainly have more to come. Hole 13, as an example, had another almost 100 meters of 0.54% copper or 0.68% copper equivalency. And within some of these zones, we've had some somewhat narrow, but still, decent widths of high grade, whereas we had 3.3 meters of 5.56% copper equivalency. Certainly hole 16 was another great hole for us, where we had almost another 200 meters of 0.56% copper or 0.68% copper equivalency, and that's starting at 10 meters. So very, very shallow.
Thank you so much for that overview of the Corral project. And I imagine you're having shallow mineralization at those grades that you mentioned is very important when you're exploring in this region. Can you give us a sense of what comes next now? Are we still waiting on results from this year's drilling? Drill bit's still turning right now. What are we expecting in terms of further corporate development work or exploration work for the remainder of 2024?
Yeah, listen, due to the success of our initial capital raise to start the year, we still have ample capital to execute a phase 2 drill program. I think what we're going to do is we're nearing the completion of our initial drill program at Corral Copper. We'll take all of those results. We've done some additional mapping. We have some historical geophysics. So it's really to start kind of piecing together in many ways the geological architecture of that area and then plan for a phase 2 program. So I think, we've gained a lot of valuable information from Corral Copper. So throughout the rest of the year, we certainly see, a phase 2 drill program at Corral Copper, but also our Tombstone South project, which is another real exciting project. And Corral Copper and Tombstone South are only about 35 kilometers from one another, so we can look to do both drill programs essentially at the same time.
Could you give us a quick overview of the Tombstone South project?
Yeah, Tombstone South's a real exciting project. It was the first asset that we added to the company when we came to the market in 2022, and it's more of a Taylor or Hermosa deposit type of analog that South 32 bought for $1.3 billion back in 2018. So previous drilling within our Tombstone South project had some relatively shallow, once again, high grades, silver, zinc, lead grades within the upper strata or the Bisbee unit, the sediments primarily. But none of the drilling tested to the depths of where the Paleozoics are or the limestone units. And that's where you see these larger Taylor-style type of deposits. The Taylor discovery, as an example, it had lots of these shallow, high-grade near surface, but it wasn't until they drilled deeper that they collared into the robust CRD type of mineralization. So the first thing we did with the project was we did a large dipole IP survey so we could try to see a little bit deeper into those limestone units, and we're very, very pleased to have a large and strong chargeability anomaly at the contact of the sediments in the limestone unit. So it's a real exciting project that we certainly look forward to drilling this year. We hit what we expect to hit between Corral Copper and Tombstone South. We'll have two monsters on our hands for a small junior. And as I mentioned, we only have 45 million shares, very small market cap. I think that can grow tremendously with success from the drill bit.
Thank you so much for that overview of Tombstone South. I guess when investors are looking at Intrepid Metals, what sets you apart from the competition?
Listen, I think there's a lot of great companies out there, but I think what really separates us, is essentially the shallow, high-grade mineralization of copper. Copper is a very hot commodity, but as well as some of the gold numbers, all in a Tier 1 jurisdiction, and that 3-kilometer trend all being on private lands. So I think, that's certainly one differentiator, to us. low market cap, only having 45 million shares outstanding. Once again, I think we got tremendous growth. So when we start looking at Corral Copper, our Mesa Well copper project, once again, also in Arizona, surrounded by giants, tremendous upside there. And then we have, our Tombstone South project. So we're not a single asset company. We're focused on essential metals. The demand for certainly copper and silver and zinc right now, really put us in a great position to be able to create shareholder value. And once again, we're fortunate to have a supportive shareholder base. That closing of $6.6 million earlier in this year, I think separates us in our own right, because not that many companies have been able to raise that type of capital for an earlier stage company such as ours over the last number of years. So I think we've got a lot of growth ahead. We've yet to really market this story, so I certainly thank you and the CEO.CA team for giving us this opportunity to bring a little bit more awareness to the company and our story.
Well, Ken, certainly looking forward to more updates throughout the year from Intrepid. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, James. Great being here.